We want to ask you a few questions, man, and just be honest and answer. You always been honest, right?
I've been drinking a whole lot of tea lately. Welcome to the channel. I'm not going to do a big breakdown because you're obviously here for the lawsuit against FS1 and Joy Taylor's place in it, right? I was hoping I would start this channel with maybe something like the Great Depression, but I'm sorry. It's just too much tea. Like, it's a hot topic. I don't see why I don't start here. So I'm not going to bore you to death with who I am. Just, I know you're going to like it. It's going to be a good video. So you may as well subscribe. You may as well like. But allow me to welcome you to what I'm calling On the Corner.
Two personal. She not a personal person. She's talking about two personal. She want to be private though.
Yeah, I see what's going on. You did all that private talk.
Yeah, but it's too personal. Which one is it? Is it personal or private?
There's a whole lot of parallels between this situation with Joy Taylor and the Scarlet Letter, which, crazy enough, I know everybody probably read in high school. I didn't. Okay, so if you don't know who Joy Taylor is, she's a media personality and a television host for Fox Sports 1. She's been on multiple shows, but currently she's a co-host on Speak with Keyshawn Johnson and Paul Pierce. Not sure if you guys are in the NBA, but the craziest thing about it is Paul Pierce's nickname is The Truth. Yeah. You probably have some general idea of the lawsuit, but I still want to do a quick breakdown. On January 5th, 2025, Joy Taylor was named in a lawsuit filed by former Fox Sports hairstylist Nushin Faraji against Fox. The lawsuit was alleging sexual and workplace harassment. Faraji alleges that she told Taylor about Fox Sports executive Charlie Dixon having rubbed her body and grabbed her buttocks. I didn't know people still say buttocks. While attending a party for Taylor in West Hollywood in January 2017. I don't know what it is with January. People clearly just can't keep their hands to themselves. Like you have to have a New Year's kiss or something. Like you got to be in someone's mouth, clearly. You got all year. So low-key, score one Miss Faraji. Miss Taylor apparently told Miss Faraji to get over it. After Miss Taylor and Miss Faraji's friendship ended, Miss Faraji alleged that Taylor began insulting her on a personal and professional level. The lawsuit alleges that Joy Taylor was having an affair with Mr. Charlie Dixon. Miss Faraji alleged that Joy had planned on accusing Dixon of sexual assault at a later date. Okay, before I go any further here, I want to give a quick breakdown on the Scarlet Letter. So a woman by the name of Hester Prynne has an affair while her husband is away and becomes pregnant. She's then condemned to wearing a scarlet letter, the letter A, along with public shaming and punishment for her sin and hiding her baby daddy, essentially. Hester gets led to the town stage and she's essentially just, publicly rebuked by town fathers. She was forced to get on a platform in her town and face public scolding, but she always handled it like a champ, for real. I mean, they already know what time you was on. You may as well just thug it out, right? Another thing to keep in mind is this book stresses how the majority of the attention goes to Hester and her role in the adultery committed. It's not till later we start to see some focus on the man responsible for knocking her up. Spoiler alert, he's the owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
That's right, Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Okay, so about the allegations. This is incredibly destructive. If it's true, like all the work that the top feminist mouthpieces have put in. That's crazy. This is a black eye for the part of the entertainment industry that's supposed to be held in high regard. It's supposed to be hella prestige. I think this could have devastating implications for literally all women in the field because the absolute bomb she dropped about positioning sexual assault on Charlie Dixon in order to have a trump card, for lack of better words, is incredibly maiming to the intelligent, poised, morally sound women working their way to the top. Which, let's be real, that's the overwhelming majority of them. I can talk all day about Doris Burke, Candace Parker, The worst thing about this whole situation is it perpetuates the already ridiculous stigmas about women in the workplace. And let's be real, a patriarchal workforce. Don't give me that look. I hate to be like a patriarchal, capitalistic one, but that's what we're in and it sucks. And a lot of people are being hurt. The gap between the rich and the poor is only getting wider. We got some ridiculous contrast in this because on one hand, we're taught to believe victims like Miss Faraji, right? There's a whole Me Too movement about this. On the other hand, if you want to talk shit about the patriarchal system that creates Joy Taylor's, you would have to defend her. And if you defend her, you're choosing to omit Miss Faraji's experience. You can't have both of them. Or maybe you can. I do think there's a lot of cases like that, but this one is special. If this lawsuit is right, it shows the nefarious role that some women play in upholding the patriarchy, using it to silence other women, and even crazier, exploitation of trusted victim credibility to destroy public image and reputation of, the men they consensually sleep with. All you gotta do is leverage a little bit of conventional attractiveness.
In the workplace, right? Like, what's the gift and the curse of being like a gorgeous woman in this game?
I think that the gift is, obvious.
What's obvious?
Well, I mean, if you look a certain way, you have access to different things. I mean, that's how it works in the world.
What's crazy is no one's really talking about the adultery because apparently she was married at the time. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone in this position. The jokes honestly write themselves, but really the moment I've been waiting for, my bag.
I'm not gonna tell on you. I'm gonna keep the secret safe.
In many ways, Joy Taylor is still a victim. We haven't seen any legal outcomes, but domestic violence is known to be one of the types of unfortunate incidents that go unreported. I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it's like 30 to 40% of these cases just don't get reported. Joy was a part of Undisputed in 2017, and she revealed on an episode that she had been a victim of domestic abuse.
I'm a domestic violence survivor, so it's important to me to empower other people to, tell their story and to find help. I am someone who has a lot of trauma, and not even one specific type of trauma. First of all, I'm 37 years old, so I've been here for some time. I was brought into the world in a traumatic situation, in an abusive home. I have had multiple abusive partners. I have been sexually abused. I have been financially abused. I have been physically abused, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like whatever version of that you could do to another person, box has been checked.
Speaking on the domestic abuse thing, I do want to say if there's a time to believe women, it's now. Remember that one time a female R&B star was subject to multiple savage beatings that began in 2007? It essentially was a cry on deaf ears until May 17th, 2024, when a video was broke by CNN depicting a certain hip-hop mogul carrying out some of the most disgusting acts we've ever seen on a hotel camera. Look, don't let a scandalous outfit or two make you completely tone deaf. And look, with that being said, we all know what comes with being conventionally attractive, especially in sports. And I mean, can that be advantageous in multiple realms? Sure. Is she probably taking advantage of that? I'm gonna guess so. Not like that though. Allegedly.
I do not send people money for photos or videos, but I'm sure there would be a market for both.
That's crazy.
Also, I'm gonna keep it real. This isn't a dumb girl. I mean, let's be real. At one point she was on the radio, right? She went to university and got a bachelor's, right? So it's not like she didn't do anything.
Joy Taylor is not a journalist. She is the sister of former Dolphins defensive end Jason Taylor, first ballot Hall of Famer, get it correct, and just a TV personality off of her brother's connections. She has no degree in journalism. This is what we call fake news. I have a honorary doctorate in broadcast journalism, and I now serve on the board of trustees for my alma mater at Barry University. So I have much more than a degree in journalism.
Like, people are acting like she's an OnlyFans girl. And then to double down on that, let's not act like there isn't some straight up garbage male sports commentators. Executives and shareholders, they have the most power at the end of the day. It comes down to them. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge it, but workplace favoritism, it exists. It's a real thing, and you can't really get rid of it. And yes, women happen to be on the opposite end of that. Let's just keep it a buck. We're not as pretty. Let's just say she did it, right? As much as you want to be upset, that's a profession where you can get away with that, and no one is gonna die. I'm not gonna lie. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Someone who is hot is on TV. It's a visual business. There's no man that's gonna bring viewers like Joy Taylor. I don't care who it is.
And also I work in a visual medium. We work on television. So there's a reason that we have a hair and makeup department, a wardrobe department. There's a reason why they put together marketing campaigns and they do Photoshop for the posters. Like, it's a visual medium. You're engaging people with that aesthetic. So that has advantages for sure. I think the negative part of it is particularly being a woman, because, there's good looking men in television as well, and that has advantages.
For sure.
But being a woman is, sometimes people think that because you're being engaging, or you're looking them in the eye, or you're laughing at their jokes, or you're being kind, or giving them natural, normal attention, the imagination is, oh, she must be into me.
Oh, she's feeling me.
Oh, she's feeling me.
Okay.
Like, walk with me here. So you're telling me this woman allegedly slept with one or two executives and strategically secured her analysts and talk show spots just by doing that? Just by sleeping with some people?
The business is full of transactional relationships, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You need somebody to hire for this.
What you mean transactional?
Transactional, like, you give me something, I give you something. So, like, okay, look, I'm looking for a job in this, I need a video editor. Oh, I got a video editor.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
okay.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
like, this is whatever, I'll put you in touch, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's not like any money transaction, but like, oh yeah, I know this person's gonna help me out with this. Or, oh, like, I'm looking for a space to shoot my podcast. Oh, I got you. Like, come through, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, everything is transactional in some way or another in the business, which is not inherently a bad thing.
Right.
She plotted this the whole time. Yo, you gotta at least admire the resilience. You know how dirty them dudes must have been? You know how crusty they must have been? And for real, like, let's be honest, there's people out here sleeping with bums, like absolute nobodies. And they're doing it for free. Zip, zero. Zilch.
Sex work has existed since the beginning of time. So let's just put that in a corner. You're never going to rid the earth of prostitution. If you read the Bible, there's plenty of prostitutes in the Bible. It is an absolute, one of the oldest professions in the world. It will always exist. There is never going to be a time where there is no sex work, okay? So you can disagree with it. You can judge. If you are going to judge both the buyer and the seller at the same level.
Y'all gotta tell me, am I cooking here or what?
Will you go out with me? Yes, no, maybe. No.
And look, no matter what anyone says, and trust me, they're saying a lot, she's been quiet on Instagram this whole time. That is G. And this is where we get back to the Scarlet Letter. In the book, whenever Hester Prynne would take the platform or she would walk about in public, people would be yelling at her, people would be saying all sorts of crazy, but she just kind of took it and just kept rolling with the punches. That's exactly what Joy Taylor is doing right now. And honestly, I'm not pressed for her to talk about this anytime soon. What's even crazier is the most popular person in all of this is Skip Bayless. And yeah, I would have talked about Skip Bayless more, but if you notice, no one cares. Skip Bayless tried to pay this woman $1.5 million. And the crazy thing is, the narrative around it is, yo, why would you pay that much? And you know, all the media engagement seems to be focused on her.
I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack, like, Jay, keep your distance. That's going to get you into trouble.
And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because as much as we want to point fingers at Joy Taylor, there's a bigger problem. Look, protect Black women. I'm not really here to slander anyone. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe a little slander. Maybe a little, what is it? What is his name? Salt Bay. Maybe just a little, I mean, shoot, tell me, are you excited to see what happens next? Am I looking at this way too deeply?
I mean, two cities.
I don't know, but thanks for making it all the way to the end. Let's get the conversation rolling too. Drop a comment. Do you think she did it?
Best performances in the last decade.
Do you think Miss Faraji is gonna win? Should we rename Skip Bayless to Skip Payless? I don't know. I'm gonna try to leave all my socials in the description. Unfortunately, no TikTok. And look, remember, the more you know, the more you don't. Peace, y'all.
I just think power really shows the true insides of a person, because when you can make decisions and not be held accountable, what decisions do you make? And that's what's been on my mind this week.